Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Alex Zenk's The Chronicles of Ordi. You can order The Chronicles of Ordi online at amazon.com. Please visit Defiance Press and Publishing at www.defiancepress.com for more amazing titles. If you would like for Defiance Press to consider your manuscript, we would love to review it. Let's join the discussion now.
You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
And you want to understand something complex, quick, but you just feel like you're drowning in information.
Yeah, totally. We get it.
So that's why we're here. Today, we're actually setting aside the usual stuff. We're taking a deep dive into a really fascinating fantasy world.
That's right. We're looking at the Chronicles of Ordi, Brotherhood of the Lost Gems.
Now, it is fantasy, magic, mythical creatures, all that. But stick with us because, honestly, there are some surprisingly deep insights here about power, resources, history echoing.
Exactly. And our mission today, if you want to call it that, is pretty focused. We're pulling out the really key info about these things called the Otthroite Gems.
Right. Why do they matter so much in this world? What's their history? All based on the bits and pieces we've got from the story.
Think of it like we're trying to figure out the hidden rules, the mechanics of this whole fantasy setting.
Okay, Otthroite Gems. Even the name sounds kind of important. And right off the bat, we learn they're rare. Like really rare treasures the dwarves dig up deep in their mountains.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? Dedication, maybe a specific dwarven skill. And what's really interesting, the core thing, is their ability.
Which is?
They can bind a person's essence for magical enhancement. So it's not just finding a pretty stone.
Whoa, okay. Bind their essence.
Yeah.
So like part of the actual person.
Yeah, precisely. It suggests this fundamental link between, the physical world and magic. Like your own being is raw material for power.
And for the dwarves, this mining.
Yeah.
It's not just pocket money, is it?
Oh, definitely not. If they lost these gems, it sounds like it wouldn't just hurt their economy. It'd be a massive blow, like shaking the foundations of their society.
Makes you think how much their culture, their survival even, is just wrapped up in these gems.
Totally. And we even get a personal angle with miners like Torgen.
Right, Torgen.
For him, and probably lots of dwarves, mining isn't just a 9 to 5. It's a whole life commitment, a tradition passed down.
And the story kind of hints that it's hard to walk away from, right?
Yeah.
Always chasing that next big find, maybe.
Exactly. That lure of finding something even greater, it gets in the way of just retiring.
You feel that weight when Torgen actually finds a really significant Otthroite gem. He immediately knows it's big.
Yeah, he understands the power it holds, not just its value in gold, but the prestige, the influence it could bring, whoever owns it. It's about more than just wealth.
Status, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even helps his whole community somehow.
And then his supervisor, Master Olin, his reaction really drives home how important this is.
He gets excited.
Immediately, yeah. He sees the potential straight away, crafting legendary gear, giving them a real strategic edge. It shows how vital these are to the dwarves, maybe even for their defense.
And he wants to take it to the council.
Yep. Plans to present it to the Dwarven Council, which tells you there's a whole formal process, that the stakes are really high.
Okay, so that leads us to the magic side of things, this binding essence idea. How does that actually work? What do we know about the mechanics?
Well, the text says mages can infuse a part of themselves into the gems to boost their own magic.
Part of themselves, okay.
But here's a neat little constraint. Each gem can only hold 2 essences.
Only 2? Huh. So you have to choose carefully.
Seems like a deliberate choice, maybe pairing specific energies, or maybe it's just a natural limit of the gems themselves. We don't know for sure, but it's interesting.
And we get an example, right? Elwyn.
Yes, Elwyn. She wants to use her blood for, stronger arcane magic.
Okay, blood makes a sort of sense.
This is where it gets intense.
Yeah.
A bit of her soul for better health and a longer life.
Her soul. Wow. That sounds incredibly risky. Are there downsides mentioned?
Oh, yeah. Big time. The text talks about this really dangerous ritual. A mage gives up a piece of their soul willingly for vitality, longer life. But the risks are huge. Soul distortion, which could kill you, or maybe even worse, your soul gets trapped inside the gem forever.
Yikes.
This deep dive discussion will return right after a word from our sponsor.
Calling all aspiring authors. Ever wonder why some books fly off the shelves while others collect dust? The secret isn't just great writing, it's having a powerful author platform. And now, Defiance Press brings you the Author Training Program. No push-ups required. 10 days. Daily lessons. Your pace. Transform your author journey and boost your book sales with expert guidance on building your platform. Ready to turn readers into superfans? Join the Defiance Press Author Training Program today. Visit bit.ly/DefianceEP and enroll today. Your readers are waiting. Defiance Press Author Training Program, because great books deserve to be discovered.
And now, back to Deep Dive.
Makes you wonder about the ethics of it all.
Definitely. And Elwyn's own story just highlights that risk perfectly.
She tries it while being attacked.
Yeah. She's doing this super delicate infusion, trying to put her soul fragment in while under attack by undead. In a storm, no less.
That's insane timing.
You feel the desperation, right? Especially when the binding starts to fail, and she's literally fighting for her life while trying to lash this volatile magic to her staff. It's gripping.
So she uses it in the moment, during the fight.
Yes, that desperate move, binding part of her soul to her staff while fighting off skeletons and a bear. It really shows the immediate practical use, not just long-term power, but survival.
Okay, so individuals with gem-infused gear. They must be pretty powerful then. We hear about the Reapers.
Ah, yes, the Reapers, the King's elite warriors.
And their equipment is gem-infused, making them formidable.
Exactly. Their gem-enhanced gear makes them incredibly tough on the battlefield. It tells you a lot about the strategic value of controlling these gems.
And linking this to history. Professor Quimby's lecture.
Right, that adds another layer.
Yeah.
Quimby mentions the Otthroite Gems were crucial in the last Great War, so this isn't new. They've shaped major conflicts before.
And the lecture also hints that old evils might be waking up again.
Precisely. Suggesting the Reapers, their dormant power, their gem gear, might be needed again very soon. There's a sense of history repeating or threatening too.
So these gems are way more than just like magic batteries. They're tangled up in the world's history, its future. What else does their story tell us about this world?
Well, that ancient link between the dwarves and the gems, specifically in the mountains of Unrar, that gives us a solid anchor point. Geography, history, all tied together.
And the mention of that last Great War, where they were key, it suggests this cycle of conflict might be ongoing.
Seems plausible. And then there's the fallen one.
Right, who turns out to be King Xerxes. Sounds like a major figure.
Definitely pivotal. What's striking is his arc from a great king to someone using both arcane and dark magic, and ruling for a really long time.
Suggests power corrupted him, went down a dark path.
It seems that way. A reign that probably scarred the world pretty badly.
And the battle involving him sounds like a total disaster. Elves scattered, humans and dwarves thrown into chaos.
Followed by a whole century just trying to rebuild, it paints a picture of a world recovering from something truly devastating.
But people thought Xerxes died in that battle, right?
Yeah.
Which led to some peace.
That was the assumption, yeah, which brought relative peace. But the current situation, new armies stirring in the Deadlands, dark elves and goblins attacking the fringes.
That sounds ominous.
Very. The fear is that these aren't just random raids, they're signs. Signs the fallen one might be coming back, and another huge war could be on the horizon.
And what about the elves in all this? Their situation sounds complicated.
It really does. You have the sort of regular elves whose power seems faded, their influence diminished.
Okay.
And then you have the dark elves, corrupted by evil magic, apparently after some ancient betrayal. That split adds another whole layer of old conflicts and potential new tensions.
But through all this, the humans and dwarves seem to stick together.
Yeah. Their alliance seems strong, long-standing, forged under the shadow of this ever-present Dark Lord threat. It suggests they know they need each other to survive.
And places like Caradar Tower, Witherwood Forest, they sound like they have history too.
Hints of past battles, lost secrets, yeah. It all adds to this feeling of a world with deep, sometimes dark, layers of history shaping the present.
So where does Ordi, our main character, fit into all this? This web of gems, history, rising threats.
Ordi's journey seems right at the heart of it. His own challenges seem linked to these old powers coming back, and maybe to the gems themselves.
Like his trials at the Academy, facing ancient creatures.
Exactly. That sets him up early on. He has power, but the world is dangerous.
And his companion, Mira the Posh Hound, she sounds important.
Very. She's rare, can channel all the elements, which boosts Ordi's own rare ability to handle all elements too. They're a potentially massive power duo.
The story makes a point about mage companions being significant.
Yeah, mentions ancient scrolls, suggests it's a known tradition, a source of great strength. Their bond is key.
In Ordi's job, King's Mage, that puts him right in the thick of things.
Absolutely. Protecting the kingdom, advising the king. We see him investigating that magically blocked water source.
Linked to the Dark Lord's runes, that sounds like an early warning sign.
Could be. A hint that the evil is already stirring. Testing the waters, maybe.
Then he travels with his brother, Verdun, to check out attacks on the border. Because the king's worried.
Yes. The king's concern about the Dark Lord's return prompts that journey. Puts Ordi and Verdun directly in harm's way, dealing with goblin attacks, meeting people like Cedric out on the fringe.
Shows the unrest is real and spreading.
And Ordi even gets a vision about the darkness coming.
Yeah, suggesting he might have some deeper, maybe prophetic link to what's unfolding.
We also hear about him interacting with gnomes.
Gnomes, what's their role?
They possess ancient knowledge, particularly about dragons. And maybe, just maybe, connected to the Otthroite Gems too. It hints that other groups, maybe overlooked ones, hold important clues.
So the journey takes them north, towards the Valley of Dusk and the Pass of Asheros. Why there?
Well, according to research done by Nimue back in Carador Tower, those places are key to finding out where the gems are now.
Ah, so it's a hunt for the lost gems.
Seems like it. And the trials they face under someone called the Gatekeeper, testing if they're worthy. Worthy specifically regarding dragons and the gems. That tells you this knowledge isn't easy to get.
And then they meet an actual ancient dragon, Typhimir. That sounds huge.
Oh, it's a massive revelation. Typhimir basically says, yeah, the dragons know where the gems are, and we're sworn to keep it secret.
Whoa. So the dragons are the guardians.
Apparently. It adds this incredibly powerful ancient force into the mix, protecting the secret, which makes their next move heading to the abandoned dwarven city of Unrar.
The place where the gems likely originated.
Exactly. It suggests the answers they need might be buried there in the ruins of the past, but you can bet it's going to be dangerous.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. These Otthroite gems, they're clearly not just shiny rocks or simple treasures.
Not at all. There are powerful magical artifacts, yeah, but they're also deeply, deeply woven into the history, the economy, the very destiny of this world, Asheros.
They offer huge magical power.
But with serious risks, especially that whole soul binding thing, very dangerous.
And they're vital to the dwarves economically, but also strategically vital in wartime.
Absolutely. Their significance cuts across multiple levels.
It's actually kind of amazing how much depth comes just from focusing on these gems.
Yeah.
You know, their dual nature, economic resource, and magical powerhouse.
Right, and the danger involved in using their full power. Plus the ancient history, the Fallen One connection.
And the dragons being the secret keepers, that's a twist.
It really paints a much richer, more complex picture than just, a quest for lost treasure.
Which leaves us and you with a really compelling thought to chew on, doesn't it?
Definitely. You've got the dragons guarding the secret location of the gems. You've got the Dark Lord Xerxes apparently making a comeback.
So what role are these incredibly powerful gems going to play now in whatever conflict is brewing?
Will Ordi and his friends manage to find them? Can they even use that power for good if they do? Or will these ancient forces fighting for control get their hands on them first?
Yeah, thinking about objects that powerful in a world that feels like it's right on the edge of another huge war, it gives you a lot to think about. What happens next?
Founded in 2011 by author David Thomas Roberts, Defiance Press Publishing emerged from his own challenging journey in the publishing world. Built on principles of integrity and transparency, we give voice to conservative and libertarian authors, offering thought-provoking literature while treating our authors like family. Turn your manuscript into a masterpiece with Defiance Press Publishing. Our all-American team of expert editors, award-winning cover designers, and formatting specialists will transform your vision into reality. Join our family of authors and experience professional publishing crafted with pride, right here in the USA. Global global distribution networks, your words unleash your story with Defiance Press. From our Texas roots to readers worldwide, we deliver powerful books through our reach everywhere. Your story deserves to be heard. At Defiance Press and Publishing, we champion American values in bold voices. With our legacy of publishing excellence, we specialize in conservative and libertarian perspectives that shape tomorrow's conversations. Join our family of authors and let your words make history. Submit today.